Hey Facebook, this is Maura, and today I am here with John Dean from CLEDA. Hey John.
Hey.
So John is going to tell us what he does with CLEDA and then how COVID has affected some of what he's doing and then plans for the future. So go ahead, John, tell us what you do with CLEDA and everything that's involved in that.
Yeah, so I'm the executive director of regional innovation at CLEDA. So that really, I have a wide variety of duties, including managing our business retention and expansion program, which means going out to our major employers and making sure that they have the resources and connections they need to continue to grow and expand and retain their workforce. But I also, at CLEDA, am helping to spearhead our new outdoor recreation initiative, which is really exciting. And really, both of those areas have been directly impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic, and really my everyday duties on my job have really transformed.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about outdoor rec. So most people are stuck at home, they don't know what to do.
Right.
And so lots of people have been spending more time outside, going hiking, stuff like that. What does outdoor recreation, what does that encompass? And then what are some things that we can do?
Yeah, so, and I'll back up to it. And why is CLEDA involved in outdoor recreation as an organization? And I think that's an important question. And really, it comes down to, as residents of Central Louisiana, we recognize that outdoor recreation and the natural resources that we're surrounded by here in Alexandria and in Leesville and Winfield and across the region. We're surrounded by national forests, we're surrounded by trails and bayous and just really beautiful natural amenities. And it's an opportunity as a region to really take pride in what we have, to leverage outdoor recreation as an opportunity to recruit new people to move to Central Louisiana, to help our rural communities really keep their workforce and keep people excited about living here. And, it's my favorite part about living in Central Louisiana by far is the outdoor recreation. I mean, I love hiking, I love trail running and paddling and doing anything on our national forests and beyond. And so if for those of you who love hiking, or for those of you who are new to hiking, for example, or paddling or just different outdoor recreation activities, you might notice, especially during the COVID pandemic, that some of our trails are just more crowded than they've ever been. Many of the bathrooms are closed by the Forest Service. And so it kind of brings a different dynamic to what we do in the woods. And for a lot of folks too, who may not be as experienced in going out and hiking, maybe just kind of exploring for the first time, might take some things for granted, might leave some trash sometimes on the trail, maybe oftentimes by accident, maybe just not being so careful. And so it's just really an opportunity for us as a region and as a community to take pride in what we have in Central Louisiana, just to make sure that when we go out and we explore our trails in our waterways, that we're leaving no trace. And so what we take in, we take out, we leave it just as nice for the people that are following us as we found it.
Yeah. So I love to hike too. And that is one thing that Central Louisiana does have, is a lot of hiking trails. So that I love that aspect of it. But like you said, with more people on the trails, that means there's the possibility is higher for more trash to be on the trail. Whether or not you mean it, like you put your water bottle in your backpack when you're done, if it's a plastic bottle, and then you reach back and pull something and it falls out. You don't even realize. But putting that in a zip up pocket or something so that you can take it back out with you, that's super key to making sure that everybody else gets to enjoy these too. So that's really good.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's really simple. Just take a Ziploc bag and just any trash you have, just put it in a Ziploc bag and put it in your backpack, and it's not dirty. You can keep your hands clean. And especially too during the COVID pandemic, having to pick up other people's trash like many of us do, it really is, it becomes really unnecessary, but unfortunately something that we just feel obligated to do because people just aren't being careful. And I think it's imperative to us and everybody in Central Louisiana to take ownership of really what we have that's special in our region. You know, it's a special community of people, and what really makes Central Louisiana stand out compared to the rest of Louisiana are our trails and our woods and our waterways. And you see it across social media when, you know, I'm a big biker, and I've seen on biking groups, people are posting about once all this clears, getting an Airbnb in Central Louisiana and spending 3 or 4 days riding gravel roads across the region, because this is where people come from across the South to come and bike on our gravel roads and trails and to go backpacking. This is the place people come. And we need to really take pride in that and recognize that this is an economic opportunity for us to bring people to our region, to recruit companies to move here. And if we don't take pride and take care of those assets, that's really going to be a detriment to our future. So it's really a challenge to everyone in Central Louisiana to recognize what we have and really take pride in that as well.
That's a good point you made. We take for granted that it's right in our backyard, but
Right.
people actually travel to come hiking or biking or boating. Like, that's something that people do, and we have it in our backyard. So we need to take care of that so that other people can enjoy it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, you know, again, because the bathrooms are going to be closed at the trailheads and at the parks that the National Forest manages, or the National Forest Service, I think it's important to recognize some of just the things you have to do differently than you normally would when you go out there. So it's not going to be the same. And just because you're in the woods and you're outside doesn't mean that you can be within 6 feet of another hiker. So there are lots of places on the trail to pull over. And also, like we were talking before we started recording, it can be a challenge to find a trailhead or a place where the trail meets the road where it's not crowded. And so what I like to do is just go down some random gravel roads that I love biking on and I love driving on, where I know a trail is going to intersect with those roads. And those trails are often less crowded than other trailheads. And it's important just to go out and find those trailheads and really start from there. The same thing goes with our bayous and lakes. I mean, there's going to be different places to put in, and trying to find those less crowded places. Really, again, it's up to us. We have to take ownership of our own actions and also really take ownership of what we have here in our region.
Yeah, that's really good. I wasn't going to bring it up, but you brought it up. I told John earlier that I actually stopped hiking about 3 weeks ago because there were so many people at the trailheads. But what he just said was finding different openings to trails is a way to get around that. And it's a way to stay social distance from people, but still get your hikes in. So thank you for that tip for me, but for everybody else as well. That's great.
Yeah, and just if you're curious, I mean, you can go to the U.S. National Forest website, Kisatchie National Forest. You can just Google Kisatchie National Forest, and you can find trail maps of all the trails in our region, but also waterways and bayous. We, in our region, have the Saline Bayou in Wynn Parish is the only national scenic and wild river in Louisiana. That's in Central Louisiana. So that's just another place to go. So it really, no matter where you live in Central Louisiana, you're not that far from a trail and a bayou. So again, it's an opportunity to take your family out, to explore, to enjoy it. But again, just remember that you're not alone. And it's important to again, leave no trace when you go out. Pack it in, pack it out. And I can't, to be frank, I've seen a lot of toilet paper out there too. So that goes with packing in and packing out too. So again, the restrooms are going to be closed. So take that into consideration. But if you want to enjoy it, those are just some of the sacrifices you have to make. And they're not big sacrifices. They really aren't.
Yeah, it's really just helping everyone else enjoy it at the same time. So that's awesome. Well, are there any tips or hints or anything we should look for on the trails? I know I've seen a couple different snakes here and there.
Yeah,
anything
for sure.
that amateurs should be looking out for?
Yeah, well, I'll share. It's getting warmer, of course, and you're starting to see the vegetation come on and along the trails, and really start to get crowded and along the sides of the trail. So just be careful of poison ivy. When I first moved to Central Louisiana about 7.5 years ago or so, my first summer, I came from Iowa, where it's usually cold, and I thought that the ground would just be slithering with snakes and other nasty things during the summer. And so I really stopped running all that much on the trails during that first summer. But then once I just went out and did it, I realized that you're very unlikely to come across a snake. You're very unlikely to come across really anything that could scare you. And the ground is not slithering. It's very stable. And it's just a great, it really is. You can be outside year round. And you just have to, remember to wear long pants in the summer, even though it's a little bit warmer. But it's really not a big sacrifice, again, just to get out. And it's good for your physical health and also good for your mental health.
So if there's one thing you take away from this whole conversation is go outside, get some of that vitamin D, exercise, but take care of wherever you are. So don't leave anything behind, so that other people can enjoy it the same.
That's right. Leave no trace.
That's a great way to say it. I think that's the shortest version out there is leave no trace.
That's right.
So yeah, take that with you. Go outside, go hiking, go boating, kayaking. There's tons of stuff. Like you mentioned, the Kostashie National Forest website. Are there any other websites that people should look at?
There are lots of blogs out there. In fact, people have come from across the country and hiked the Wild Azalea Trail and the Backbone Trail up in Natchitoches Parish. And so if you just Google some of those trails, or just Google Kostashie National Forest, you're going to find lots of resources. And so I would just suggest coming at it with just an open mind if you've never been out there and ask around. But there's lots of resources online too, where you can find more information.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for taking the time today, John, to talk with us about this. And if y'all have any questions about hiking, talk to John first, but then I would love to go with you. So let me know. All right. Thanks, John.
Great. Thank you. It was fun.